ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, dear Prabhujis, we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 3rd, Karma Yoga, and we are going to read the 15th verse. So another very beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita. Lord Shri Krishna, he continues his instructions on Karma Yoga and he says to Arjun ji, कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवम, कर्म ब्रह्म उद्भवम, कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवम विधि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवम, ब्रह्म अक्षर समुद्भवम, तस्मात् सर्वगतम ब्रह्म नित्यम यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम. So very beautiful verse. कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवम विधि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवम, तस्मात् सर्वगतम ब्रह्म नित्यम यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम. कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवम विधि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवम, तस्मात् सर्वगतम ब्रह्म नित्यम यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम. Karma, work, Brahma, Vedas, Udbhavam, produced from Vidhi, one should know. Brahma, the Vedas, Akshara, the Supreme Personality, Supreme Brahman, Personality of Godhead. Samudbhavam, directly manifested. Tasmat, therefore, Sarvagatam, all pervading. Brahma, transcendence. Nityam, eternally. Yagye, in sacrifice. Pratishtitam, situated. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas. Karma Brahma Udbhavam, and Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahmakshar Samudbhavam. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. Tasmat Nityagatam. Sarvagatam. Brahma Nityam Yagya Pratishtitam. Tasmat Sarvagatam. All-pervading Sarvagatam. Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yagya Pratishtitam. All-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. So in the purport, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, Yagyartha karma, or the necessity of work for the satisfaction of Krishna only, is more expressly stated in this verse. If we have to work for the satisfaction of the Yajna-Purusha Vishnu, then we must find out the directions of the work in Brahman or the transcendental Vedas. The Vedas are therefore codes of working directions. Anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is called vikarma, or unauthorized or sinful work. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work. As one has to work in ordinary life by the directions of the state, similarly one has to work under direction of Supreme State of the Lord. Such directions in the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said, Asya Mahato Bhutasya Nishwasitam Etad Yad Rigvedo Yajurvedaha Samvedo Atharvan Girasaha. The four Vedas, namely the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda and Atharveda, are all emanations from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord, being omnipotent, can speak by breathing air, as it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. For the Lord has omnipotence to perform through each of his senses the actions of all other senses. In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing, and he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over material nature and thus fathered all living entities. After creating or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of material nature, he gave his directions in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return home back to Godhead. We should always remember that the conditioned souls in material nature are all eager for material enjoyment, but the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead having finished his so-called enjoyment. It is a chance for the conditioned souls to attain liberation. Therefore, the conditioned souls must try to follow the process of yajna By becoming Krishna conscious, even those who cannot follow the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of performance of Vedic yagyas or karmas. So, very beautiful verse. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Brahma akshar samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagye pratishtitam. So, Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna is trying to explain to Arjunji. He is trying to explain all of us, all humanity, that one should know vidhi. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi, one should know. So, all human beings, they should know that karma. What is karma? So, karma are regulated activities which are prescribed in the Vedas. They are actually karma. Hence, performing those activities, prescribed activities, those regulated activities is known as karma yoga. So, karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Regulated activities are mentioned in the Vedas. Brahma. The Vedas are also known as Brahma or Shabda Brahma. And Brahma Akshar Samudbhavam. So Supreme Brahman is also known as Akshar, the personality of Godhead. Vishnu is known as Akshar. So Brahma Akshar Samudbhavam is directly manifested. The Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu or Lord Shri Krishna. And even Lord Shri Krishna, he will confirm in the forthcoming verses. Vedantkrit Vedvid cha eva aham. I am. From me all the Vedas have emanated. So the Vedas have emanated from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Purusha incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna, the Purusha incarnation, Lord Vishnu. So all the Vedas, they have emanated. Swami Srila Prabhupada took reference from the Upanishads in the purport, and he explained that Vedas are directly manifested, and Lord Shri Krishna, he is also confirming Brahma Akshar Samudbhavam. So Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and prescribed activities, prescribed duties or prescribed yagyas, because those activities are meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, they are known as the karma, real karma. Authorized karma which is mentioned in the scriptures are known as yagya. So, Tasmat Sarvagatam, therefore Lord Shri Krishna is concluding, Sarvagatam, all pervading Brahma, Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma, all pervading transcendence is eternally Nityam, Yagya Pratishtitam, is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice or in the acts of Yagya, in the acts of prescribed duties, regulated activities mentioned in the Vedas. So regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahma Akshar Samudbhavam. Consequently, Tasmat, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. Sarvagatam Brahm, Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma, all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice, in the acts of yagya, in the acts of prescribed duties, in the acts of regulated activities mentioned in the Vedas. And the activities which are not mentioned in the Vedas, if people work whimsically without the directions of the Vedas, then those unauthorized activities, they create bondage in this material world. Lord Shri Krishna, he explained in the Bhagavad Gita, Yagyarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karmabandhana. So the activities which are not mentioned in the scriptures, they are not yagya. And those who act whimsically, not according to the directions of the scriptures, not according to the directions of the Vedas, in the Vedas, regulated activities are mentioned for all classes of men, according to their modes of material nature. According to their specific modes of material nature, there are activities for Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. And those, by performing those activities or by performing those karma, prescribed duties, one satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Swami Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport, Yagyartha karma, or activities or actions done for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna or Lord Vishnu, is more expressly stated in this verse. Because only those activities will not bear any karmic reactions. So if one want to save himself from the reactions of work which are binding in this material world, so one has to perform activities which are satisfying to the Supreme Lord. So yagyartha karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. So in order to save oneself from the reactions of the work. So because living entities, they have got all living entities in this material world, they are conditioned. They are conditioned because they have desire, they are very eager. Swami Srila Prabhupada explained. So all of us, we are very, very eager for material enjoyment. And hence we are conditioned in this material world and we have obtained a material body because we are very, very eager for material enjoyment. But our eternal occupation is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna or Lord Vishnu. And Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Vishnu, they know this very well, that the living entities, some living entities, they do not want to serve him and they have lording over tendency, they want to lord over the material nature. So mercifully the Supreme Lord, Swami Srila Prabhupada explained in this purport also, and it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vedic literatures. The Supreme Lord, he impregnated all the conditioned soul, all of us, we were impregnated by the Supreme Lord in the womb of material nature, and we all received a material body to fulfill our material desires. But after impregnating, after creating the living entities in the womb of material nature, into the womb of material nature, the Supreme Lord gave Vedic wisdom in which regulated activities are prescribed. Because living entity, because all those who are there in this material world, all of us, we do not want to serve the Supreme Lord directly. We have material desires. So dharma is prescribed in the Vedas, regulated activities. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, by which we can satisfy our material desires and simultaneously we can purify ourselves. We can progress on the path of self-realization when we can move towards liberation. So that is the ultimate plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Vishnu, behind this creation, behind this material creation. It is a chance given to all of us, all conditioned beings, that after satisfying our material desires, we may return home, back to Godhead in our eternal occupation of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotional service, and we may get liberated from this material world. So that is the ultimate plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Yagyartha Karma, Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, or the necessity of work for satisfaction of Krishna only is more expressly stated in this verse. So if we have to work for the satisfaction of Yajna-Purusha, if somebody has to work for the satisfaction of Yajna-Purusha, so from where one will get direction? So only Yajna-Purusha can tell what activities can satisfy him. So Yajna-Purusha or Lord Vishnu knows very well that all the living entities in this material world, they have desire for material enjoyment. Hence, the Supreme Lord gave Vedic wisdom in which regulated activities are mentioned. So one will have to find directions of activities which satisfy the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu, in the Vedas only, which are directly manifested from him, which are manifested from his breathing. Nihishwas, Nishwasitam. It is explained in the other Vedic literatures in Upanishad, and Swami Srila Prabhupada took that reference. So Vedas are therefore codes of working direction. Anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is called vikarma. So karma is prescribed in the Vedas. People generally, they do not know. They say कि no, we are engaged in karma or karma yoga, but they do not have knowledge about the scriptures. They do not know about their prescribed duties. So, but people say that we are engaged in karma yoga. So karma yoga, we can say karma yoga only when we perform activities according to the directions of the scriptures. Otherwise, activities which are done whimsically for sense gratification, for the satisfaction of material mind and senses, they are known as vikarma or unauthorized actions or sinful reactions or sinful actions. And such actions will surely bear reactions, karmic reactions, which will bind one in this material world. So Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is sorry is called vikarma or unauthorized or sinful work. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work. As one has to work in ordinary life, Swami Srila Prabhupada is giving a very simple analogy, very simple example. In this material world, we have to work according to the laws of the state. So similarly, one has to act according to the laws of the supreme state. And those laws or activities, proper actions for each class of men according to their modes of material nature is mentioned in the scriptures, and which are known as prescribed duties. So one should only act as per the directions of the scriptures if he want to, scriptures according to the direction of the Vedas, if he want to save himself from the reaction of the work. So as one has to work in ordinary life by directions of the state, similarly one has to work under the direction of the supreme state of the Lord. Such direction, the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahma Akshar Samudbhavam, and Swami Srila Prabhupada took the reference from the Upanishad. It is said, Asya Mahato Bhutasya Nihishwas. So Shwas means breathing. So Asya Mahato Bhutasya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Mahato. He is great. He is greater than the greatest. So Asya Mahato Bhutasya Nihishwasitam Etat Yad Rigvedo Yajurvedah Samvedo Atharva Girasaha. So it is explained in the Upanishad that all the four Vedas and other Vedic literatures, they are emanated from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is the omnipotency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Swami Srila Prabhupada explained that in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is saying, Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti. Angani, the Supreme Lord can perform Sakala Indriya, all the activities through any of his senses. So that is the omnipotency. The Supreme Lord is omnipotent, and he has got inconceivable energies. We cannot conceive his energies. So, and his potencies. So Supreme Lord is omnipotent. He can speak by breathing. He can impregnate. Swami Srila Prabhupada took the reference in Srimad Bhagavatam and in other Vedic literatures. The process of creation, when the Supreme Lord, he created this material world, he just glanced over the material nature, and just by glancing over material nature, he impregnated all the conditioned souls, all of us, into the womb of material nature. And after creating the living entities, after impregnating the mother nature with conditioned souls, he gave his wisdom, he gave Vedic wisdom, following which everyone can satisfy their material desires and can finally return back to Godhead. So the Lord, being omnipotent, can speak by breathing air, as it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. For the Lord has omnipotence For the Lord has omnipotence to perform through each of his senses the actions of all other senses. In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing, and he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over material nature and thus fathered all living entities. So all conditioned souls were fathered by the Supreme Lord just by glancing over the material nature. So after creating or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of material nature, he gave his directions in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return home back to Godhead. So that is the ultimate plan of the Supreme Lord behind this material creation. It is a chance given to all living entities and those who have received human form of life one receives human form of life by very good fortune, and those who have received human form of life, they can utilize this human form of life where one has elevated consciousness, where one has intelligence to solve all the material problems of life by self-realization and God realization, and one can free oneself from all the bondage, material bondage, all the past accumulated reactions of fruitive actions by engaging oneself in devotional activities, by engaging oneself in yajnas meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Swami Srila Prabhupada mentioned, because in this age of Kali we do not have access to the Vedas, they do not have knowledge about the Vedas, and all of us, we do not have knowledge about prescribed yajnas, kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavyapyatra mohita. Even the intelligent people, they are bewildered in determining what to do and what not to do. So in this age of Kali, because we are not well versed in the science of Vedas, because we do not have access and we are too much eager for material enjoyment, for material sense gratification, our senses and our mind, material mind, are out of control. So in this age, the Supreme Lord mercifully, He gave the Sankirtan Yajna, and Swami Srila Prabhupada wrote in the purport also that those who cannot follow the Vedic injunctions, they can accept the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will replace all the other Vedic yajnas. And it is actually said, कृते यध्यायतो विष्णुम त्रेताम यजतो मखे द्वापरे परिचर्यायाम कलौ तद हरि कीर्तनाद. Just by accepting the Sankirtan Yajna or chanting of the holy names of the Supreme Lord and the principles of Krishna consciousness, by following the principles of Krishna consciousness as per the directions of a bona fide representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Swami Srila Prabhupada being a pure devotee and a bona fide representative, an acharya in the line of disciplic succession in Brahma Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya. So he is very, very merciful, and he is requesting all of us to take up to Sankirtan Yajna and adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness in our lives, and by doing so we can actually move on the path of self-realization and God realization, and we can make our human birth successful. So after creating or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of material nature, he gave his direction in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return home back to Godhead. So we should always remember, Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, we should always remember that the conditioned souls in material nature are all eager for material enjoyment. All of us, we are very eager for material enjoyment. But the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his so-called enjoyment. So all enjoyment in this material world, they are just, the living entity is just dreaming. It is just like daydream and night dream. So in our dream, whether we are rich or we are poor, whether we are king or we are pauper, it hardly matters, because it is just dream. So that's why Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing so-called enjoyment. So one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his so-called enjoyment. So it is a chance for the conditioned souls to attain liberation. Therefore the conditioned souls must try to follow the process of yajna by becoming Krishna conscious. Even those who cannot follow the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of performance of Vedic yajnas or karmas. So very beautiful verse. कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवम विधि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवम तस्मात् सर्वगतम ब्रह्मा नित्यम यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. So in our next session, we will try to read and understand the next verse of Bhagavad Gita. Till then, जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य श्रोत्रशत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की जय. All glories to His Divine Grace, Krishna Kripa Murti, Abhay Charna, Arvind, Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Shila Prabhupada. All glories to Lord Shri Krishna, all glories to Bhagavad Gita, all glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Holy Name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.